It is not that you no longer experience the deep emotions, but Vairāgya gives you the space to see things as they are without the color of raga and dvesha. Imagine this. You wake up one morning and realize you don't need to work anymore. You have inherited enough money for 10 lifetimes. No deadlines, no bosses, no responsibilities. You walk to the window, take a deep breath and smile. Finally, I am free. You buy things, you travel, you indulge and enjoy the rest of your life. Sounds perfect freedom, right? But pause for a moment. A few years ago, a man in US won a lottery, around $20 million, around 170 crores. Overnight, he was free from work, free from debt, free from every worry he ever had. For a few months, he was ecstatic. New house, cars, parties. But within 2 years, he said something remarkable. The money gave me everything I wanted except for peace. He still has wealth, but his restlessness did not vanish. It actually increased. Ideally, he should have been free and happy, but he wasn't. And he is not alone. Studies show that while many lottery winners improve their finances, many eventually face a strange emptiness because the things they thought would bring them lasting happiness did not. What does this tell us? It shows us that the freedom from bosses, responsibilities, or financial pressure is not a real freedom. Because even when the outer chains fall away, there is still an inner one, the most subtle, the most dangerous, the prison of desire. And the worst part? This prison doesn't feel like a prison. It feels like your best friend. The voice that says, just one more thing and I will be happy. Think again. If we were truly free, we should be able to choose whether to pursue a desire or not, without any conflict, without any pressure. Can you really do that easily? Can you easily avoid anything that gives you pleasure or enjoyment? Or there is always something inside that whispers, I need this, I must have this, I can't be happy without it. That is not freedom, that is slavery. And this is what our rishis meant when they said, the real bondage is not external, it is internal. This invisible prison that we can't see. Ask someone who struggles with addiction. They will tell you how impossible it can feel to say no, even when they want to. But the truth is, most of us are addicted to only more subtly, addicted to our desires and expectations, and we don't even see it. Now imagine, long ago, this new realization that we are talking spread among seekers and philosophers, that desire binds, desire is the root of all suffering. What did they do? They began a new war, a war against desire itself. They tried to kill it, tame it, silence it, bury it deep. We made pleasure, ambition, and even love sound sinful. And in doing so, we missed the point completely. In trying to escape an old prison, we built a new one. Only this time the walls were painted in gold and called spiritual practice. And that is how a beautiful word Vairāgya got completely misunderstood. At Tvame, we revisit these teachings and understand them properly so that we can apply in our daily lives. So let us ask, what exactly is Vairāgya? When we hear this word in our everyday conversations, most of us think it means rejecting life. Pleasure is bad, avoid it, or give up the joy now to accumulate enough good karma which will give us enjoyment later. Some think it is about suppressing desires and becoming indifferent. Have you noticed how people sometimes say, I am in a state of Vairāgya, I don't enjoy worldly pleasures anymore, or I'm completely detached from that person. But if you look closely, it is often hurt, disappointment, or exhaustion that is wearing a mask of Vairāgya or detachment. Let me ask you, does suppressing your desire actually work? Can you really do it? And when you try to suppress something natural, you know it doesn't die, it just hides. And when it hides, it eventually comes back as irritation and rigidity. Suppose you suppress expressing your feelings to show that you are matured, you are calm, or to avoid confrontation. Do you become calmer over time? Or frustration builds up so much that even smaller things starts bringing anger and irritation in you. And think about it. The entire world, this creation itself arises from a desire, the desire to manifest, to express, the desire to know. So how can desire be the enemy? So if desire is not the enemy, what is Vairāgya? Vairāgya comes from V, without, and Raga, which comes from a root word Rang, means color. So literally it means freedom from emotional coloring. Now what is emotional coloring? Emotions themselves are natural, part of being human. The scripture, however, points out to another important truth. They say emotion becomes binding when they are colored by craving and aversion, raga and dvesha. It is not the emotion that is the problem, it is the dependence that comes along with it. For instance, think about love. To love someone is natural. But when love turns into possessiveness or a fear of losing someone, that's raga. And when you are hurt and you say, I will never care again, that is dvesha. Both binds you. While vairāgya is the freedom to feel deeply, but not drowning in what you feel. It is an engagement without entanglement. You may ask, wait a minute. How can I have desires and be free from them? If I'm ambitious, it is because I have a strong desire for something. If I love someone, that too is a form of a desire, a longing. So how can I be ambitious and loving without the weight of intense craving and desire? You're right. It is not easy to be engaged and yet not entangled. But it is not impossible, it is possible. Let's take a simple analogy. As a child, when you lost a toy, you would have probably cried endlessly. But today, as an adult, if you lose another toy like a tennis racket, you don't fall apart. Why? Because you know it is not essential. You can buy another one, borrow, or choose to do something else. It doesn't define you anymore. But today, if you lose a relationship, you may cry. It may hurt you deeply because somewhere you assume that togetherness should be permanent, and without it, you can't be okay. Can you see the spectrum? As a child, your toy was your world. But as you grew, you remained engaged with your toys, but not entangled. You developed vairāgya towards your new toys, but not yet towards relationships. So what does that show? It shows that vairāgya is not an action, it is an outcome of understanding when the wisdom truly sinks in. Just as you truly realized experientially that your toys no longer define you, you are no longer entangled. But it happened on its own and it was not forced. Vairāgya is not something you do, it is something that happens when clarity emerges, not by suppression, but by insight. Insight into what? That must be going in your mind. We will come to that in a moment. But before that, let us see what Tattva Bodha has to talk about Vairāgya. Tattva Bodha describes Vairāgya as one of the essential qualifications for a seeker. Now, why Vairāgya is so critical for a spiritual seeker? Because spiritual journey or spiritual inquiry is not about collecting knowledge. It's about discovering your essential nature, which is beyond your immediate experience of body and mind. And have you ever thought what blocks that inner discovery? What blocks is the emotional coloring, raga and dvesha. They create attachment, and the attachment strengthens identification. Identification strengthens ahankara, that sense of I, that I am this body and mind. And the stronger the ahankara, the harder it is to realize that you are the witness, the quiet awareness behind all experiences. Think about it. When you are watching a gripping movie, you laugh, you cry, you even feel fear. Why? Because in those moments, you are completely identified with the characters. You forget that you are sitting safely in your seat, simply watching. Sometimes people even have physical reactions like palpitations, tears, anxiety to something that isn't real. That is what deep identification does. In the same way, you get emotionally entangled in your likes and dislikes, in our life stories, and we really forget who we truly are. We start living as characters rather than as a witness. And that's why Vairāgya is crucial for the path of self-inquiry. It is not that you no longer experience the deep emotions, but Vairāgya gives you the space to see things as they are without the color of raga and dvesha. Now, coming back to the original question, how does Vairāgya arise? It arises through Viveka, the discernment between permanent and the impermanent, nitya, anitya, vastu, Viveka, which is what we discussed in our previous episode. When you truly see that everything that you are clinging to, possessions, relationships, recognition, all of it are impermanent, attachment naturally begins to loosen. And when I am saying seeing, I don't mean some sort of an intellectual discussion or understanding over a coffee. I really mean going through the entire cycle of pain while seeing with awareness through direct experience and quiet observation. It means sitting silently and asking yourself, have I ever chased something expecting joy to last? And did the joy last? Or it faded over a period of time? That one thing, that one source of happiness, say a career or relationship, did it eventually bring me pain as well? And even after knowing this, do I still chase them again? We do it, right? And this kind of honest reflection slowly brings the realization of impermanence. And if you want to fast track this process, there is one simple shift. Stop blaming people or circumstances for what they did or they didn't give to you. Turn your attention inward. Watch how your own desires and expectations shape your experience without justifying those desires and expectations. Notice the hurt when a desire is not met and ask yourself, was it truly the person who hurt me or my expectation of them? And then notice further, does that hurt remain forever? Think of something that upset you 5 years ago. Does it hurt the same way today? You will see most of the hurt fade with time. And now look at the other side when you got what you desired, what you wanted. Did the happiness last or did that fade too? One of my close friends told me something that stayed with me. She said, I have everything I need. A loving husband, a supportive family, a stable life. But he's so busy that we rarely spend time together to travel. That one missing part irritates me endlessly, even though I know I am blessed. My attention keeps going to what is missing. And that's how the mind works. It rarely rests in what is full. It keeps finding what is incomplete. Ask yourself, how many of your desires have actually been fulfilled? And did any of them bring a lasting peace? Do you feel gratitude for what life has already provided? Or your mind endlessly runs to what is missing? Just watch. Observe this movement carefully. See the mind's restlessness, its impermanence. Don't suppress it. Don't label it. Simply understand it. And when you do, something subtle and something beautiful begins to happen. A quiet clarity, an intuition that cannot be forced. You start knowing the impermanence, which is not merely an intellectual understanding. In fact, it took time for me to realize this too, while I knew it intellectually. For years, I chased recognition and success, believing the next milestone would finally make me feel complete. And every time I reached one, it felt good. It felt good for a while. But soon that quiet restlessness returned and the voice inside started asking, is that it? It wasn't the failure on the outside. It was the fatigue inside. And through Vedanta, I began to see that what I call ambition was often a dependence, the mind's attempt to feel enough through something external. There is nothing wrong in ambition itself. The problem starts when your peace depends on the outcome. And that awareness changed my relationship with work. I could still be fully immersed, but I wasn't consumed. And honestly, it happened again when I started this YouTube journey. Your love, your appreciation, growing numbers, they gave me a new identity, a new high. And before I realized, I noticed that my emotional state and other parts of my life started to depend upon how a video performed at this time. But this time, I caught it early, paused, and took certain steps to realign, to keep my love for Upanishads alive without letting it become another form of attachment. And some of you had asked me why I release one video in 15 days, and this is what happened. Coming back, if we clearly think what we have listened right now, you realize that Vairāgya is not about controlling or killing desires, but it is all about not getting swayed by it, either by attachment or repulsion. And let's come to the core point, the desire itself. The Bhagavad Gītā gives a beautiful direction here. It doesn't say fight your desires. It says redirect them. Let your desires serve something higher. When the actions, even though it is emanating from desires, are offered with Ishwar Arpana Bhava as an offering to the total, they no longer bind the mind. They in fact purify it. And when that inner completeness, the Spurnatvam, begins to awaken, the chain of desires to quietly falls apart on its own. So Vairāgya is a state where you engage, but you don't get entangled. Where the desires may exist, but they don't dictate your direction. It is not about suppressing desires. That leads to frustration. It is not about even controlling them. That brings guilt. It is not even about hating them. That becomes dvesha, an opposite of attachment. It is about understanding and seeing deeply the impermanent nature of things. It's about the freedom to live, to love, to act without clinging. At Tvame, this is exactly what we explore, bringing timeless Vedantic insights into our daily life with awareness and grace. You can follow these steps to start this journey slowly. 1. When a desire arises, pause and ask, am I depending on this for my peace? Simply naming it loosens the grip. And it doesn't matter what is the answer. You just name it, you act, but act with awareness. 2nd, when things don't go as per your way, remind yourself, this too shall pass. Have patience. 3rd, when things go your way, remind yourself, this too shall pass. Don't cling on it too tightly. And if a desire feels too strong to give up, don't fight it. Transform it. Money and recognition matters, and they can be pursued in the way that can serve the whole through knowledge, service, creativity, and growth. Let desires become a channel, not a chain. And if you'd like to go deeper, join our live workshops on Upanishads. And put your details in the description below. We'll reach out to you as soon as we are starting a new batch. And if this resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe. It helps us to reach to others who are seeking clarity. Until then, reflect, live with awareness, and may there be grace in your seeking. Thank you.